Good morning, everybody. It's a great day to be a Charlotte 49er. My name is Kyle Neves. I've got the very distinct privilege today to welcome you all for the newest era of Charlotte football. Real quick run of show for everybody in the room. I'm going to introduce a couple folks here. They'll have some remarks. We're going to have a Q&A panel with a couple of our guests down here, and then for the media assembled in the room, we'll have some time for questions as well. So we'll get to it. You're not here to see or hear from me, so I'm privileged to introduce the Chancellor of UNC Charlotte, Sharon L. Gaber.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here as we mark an exciting new chapter in Charlotte football. Today, we officially welcome Coach Tim Albin and his family, his wife, Brooke, his daughter, Tori, son, Trace, to Niner Nation. Let's give them a hand. Coach Albin is a proven winner with a commitment to building successful programs both on and off the field. Throughout his career, Tim has demonstrated consistent excellence from leading championship teams, hopefully you saw that on Saturday, to guiding student athletes to reach their fullest potential. His track record speaks for itself, a history of sustained success, leadership, and integrity that resonates deeply with our university's values. Tim's belief in the power of sports to transform lives aligns perfectly with our mission at UNC Charlotte. Tim has embraced the opportunity to make Charlotte his home, recognizing the special energy and pride of this university and this city. I believe he'll be an incredible ambassador for Charlotte football and for Niner Nation as a whole. I'd also like to take a moment to thank a few individuals whose leadership and dedication were instrumental in this search. We added a few people to the search committee, which we were very pleased to do. I first want to thank the chair of our Board of Trustees, Dennis Bunker. And I want to thank David Raven, who co-chairs our recently announced capital campaign For the Love of Charlotte, for serving on the search committee. Your guidance and support have been invaluable. Let's give them a hand. Finally, I want to express my thanks to Director of Athletics, Mike Hill. Mike, your persistence in bringing Tim here has laid the foundation for our football program's success, and we are excited about that and excited about the future. It's my pleasure now to introduce Mike Hill to share more about this exciting next chapter for Charlotte football. Thank you.
Wow, what a crowd. This is awesome. Thank you, Chancellor Gaber. Good afternoon, Niner Nation. It's a historic day for our university as we introduce our new head football coach, Tim Albin. We are truly fortunate to have such amazing leadership on this campus, providing the alignment required to achieve our dreams. Chancellor Gaber leads this institution with strength, grace, and a relentless drive for us to realize our potential. She believes in the power of athletics, specifically football, and what it can do to elevate the profile of our great institution. This also holds true for our Board of Trustees, led by Chairman Dennis Bunker, to whom we are immensely grateful. And during the process, we were often asked, what differentiates Charlotte from everyone else? And that was an easy answer. It's the people. A special thank you as well to Tim Brewster for serving as the interim head coach for the past 3 weeks. He and our entire coaching staff have led our football team admirably through a tumultuous time, and we're deeply appreciative of all that Brew did to support our young men. I do want to thank again our search team, as the Chancellor alerted to, Chancellor Gaber, Chairman Bunker, and David Raven for participating in our process. I also see some of our members of our Board of Trustees here, John Bailey, Larry Shaheen, and Brett Keeter, and appreciate all that you do and all of our Board of Trustees for supporting our athletics program and our university. I also want to acknowledge our executive staff who worked their tails off on this search. Scott Bird, Chris Thomason, Eric Gross, and Reagan Hill, who's the football sport administrator and whose work ethic is absolutely unmatched. She has helped manage this complex beautifully. And most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Jessica, who her steadfast love and support during the coaching searches is incredible. These are complicated, they're intense, they're all-consuming, and I'm really grateful to have her by my side and someone who understands this business. You know, as we launched our search, we asked our players for some input, some leaders on our football team, and we integrated their priorities into our candidate profile. So some of the key characteristics we sought were integrity, extensive, successful collegiate coaching experience, a proven recruiter and developer of talent, someone who instills discipline and accountability, a commitment to the total development of our student athletes, including academics and community service, and someone who will embrace their role as a leader in our department, on our campus, and in our community. I also reminded myself every single day of the search that we were looking for a coach with 3 personal attributes. Randy Peterson, you can appreciate this: hungry, humble, smart. And man, did we ever find that in Tim Albin. Tim is a winner in every sense of the word. He started out coaching at the NAIA level, where he led his alma mater, Northwestern Oklahoma State, to a national title. He went to Nebraska as a graduate assistant and then full-time assistant under Frank Solich, who is actually being inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame tomorrow evening. So glad that Tim and Brooke are going to have a chance to go be there for that induction. After a season at North Dakota State, where he helped the Bison achieve their first ever top 25 ranking, he followed Coach Solich to Ohio University, serving as the offensive coordinator and transforming the Bobcats into one of the most consistently successful programs in the nation over the past 2 decades. After Coach Solich retired, Tim was elevated to head coach and has taken OU to unprecedented heights, culminating in this past Saturday's 38-3 victory over Miami to win the MAC championship, Ohio's first since 1968. As head coach, we can clap for that. As head coach, Tim Albin has led the Bobcats to 3 consecutive 10-win seasons, the first such streak in Ohio's 130-year history, 3 bowl games, and has been named the MAC Coach of the Year twice, including the 2024 season. Tim's winning mentality goes far beyond the field of play. When we interviewed him, he talked about building champions out of young men and that championships would follow. He wants his student athletes in the community helping students with move-in days on campus, participating in reading programs with kids, and supporting the food pantry. And he expects them to be great students, as evidenced by his program's amazing 93% graduation rate at Ohio. Maybe the most impactful thing we learned during the process, in my opinion, was that he told us about his dog Macy and his family's commitment to rescue dogs. So once I heard that, it was over, Tim. It was over. So I'm looking forward to our rescue dog Dansby meeting their rescue dog Macy. Out of respect to Tim and his team preparing for the MAC championship last week, we waited quietly and patiently, knowing that he was the right man for our job. It spoke volumes to me that his focus was on his team and not himself. And without a doubt, our patience was richly rewarded. Tim, we're thrilled to have you, Brooke, Tori, and Trace join Niner Nation, and I ask that all of you please join me now in welcoming our next head football coach, Tim Albin.
Niners! Wow, we're going to win. Okay. Whew. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Chancellor Gaber and Director Hill, for the opportunity to lead Niner football program. Thank you to my wife, Brooke,
and my family for their sacrifices throughout my career. As I said in my conversations with Charlotte leadership, during this process as being the head football coach, it's a two-person job. I'm grateful and humbled to have you as a partner, Brooke. You're my rock. The old saying of behind every successful man is a surprised woman. I got her on our toes today with all of this. I'm overwhelmed. So, honey, I love you and thank you. I have to say thank you to Ohio University and their fan base. Their administration, Director Cromer, gave me an opportunity. I took it and ran with the help of so many others. But most importantly, thank you to the players and what they stand for. It was truly an honor for Brooke and I to serve them, serve their hearts, not their talents. And what they got done over my time is a large part for me to get this opportunity. And so I thank them. It is clear that this university, with Chancellor Gaber's vision, and this athletics department with Director Hill's leadership, this wonderful community, today, the power and the spirit, all right? We are gonna be committed to a gold standard of an achievement here, both on the field and off the field. Director Hill's comments on what we're gonna do in this community that you're gonna come and that you've been supporting in the stands, we're gonna give back. Man, are we gonna give back. I'm so excited. In my 30 plus years of coaching, I've learned that building a championship program takes a village, and we are off to a hell of a start. It is not about the buildings, it's about the people inside those buildings, and today we saw that firsthand. There's work to be done here, but I'm also confident that with the leadership and the people in place, we can work together to make Niner Nation proud. Thank you, God bless, go Niners.
We're gonna bring Mike, coach, back up to be joined by the voice of the 49ers, Mr. Matt Swirad, for a quick get to know you. Let's get to know Coach a little bit better.
All right. Got to echo Mike's statement. What a great crowd, man. This is an unbelievable Niner Nation showing out. Coach, so happy to have you now part of our family. And to get things started, I'm going to ask kind of a two-part question. First, Mike, what was it you saw in Coach Albin that kind of attracted you to, you want him to be part of this program? And Coach, what, for you, after all those years at Ohio, this was the opportunity for you?
Sure. So I think that on paper it was pretty obvious he was a great candidate and would be an incredible hire for us. But really, it was our first interaction. I think we had a chance as a committee to visit with him. We had an initial Zoom call first, and you could just sort of, Zooms, we've all lived it now for a long time, right? It's hard sometimes to develop a connection through the camera, but you could feel his energy and his passion for people, for his players, for building something the right way, and that really resonated with me and with us. So, and then certainly in person, his passion is unmatched, and so it's just a thrill for us to welcome him here.
20 years at Ohio University, and why now is the question. And really, to be honest, the potential, this university, again, as Director Hill had mentioned, the first Zoom call, his leadership, the gold standard, that was my first or second question. And I'm in, we're in. And so you take the city with this wonderful, passionate fan base here today. All right, you start with that. You talk about the recruiting footprint in this area. All right, great conference. With where we are with our family right now, it's time for a new chapter. And I'll be honest, never been to campus. Seen it on TV many times. We play on a Wednesday. Charlotte's playing on a Friday. I've seen it. I've seen the students in the stands. I've seen the excitement. So we could not be more excited and ready to get going.
May not have seen the campus, but Brooke was telling me you know this area well. You've vacationed at Lake Norman.
We have 2 or 3 times. It's again beautiful area. Looking forward to getting back, but that won't be happening anytime soon. We're going to be busy working.
Mike, for you, we hear all and know so much now about Coach's background off the field, but talk about on the field, the coaching. What was it when you saw and you were kind of looking for a new head football coach that you really got excited about with Coach Albin?
Well, obviously the winning was attractive, but he's a winner. But it's not a one-year thing, right? I mean, he's shown a consistent track record of excellence. For us, this was a time we felt very strongly we needed to identify a coaching candidate who, had significant, extensive experience in the business, and also maybe someone who had an expertise on one side of the ball or the other. He came up on the offensive side as the OC, and but obviously is fully committed. You see the great defense at OU too, special teams. He understands complementary football better than anybody. So, but I think more than anything, the competitive piece is obvious, but it's also the kind of human he is, and that matters a lot to us. It matters a lot. We talk about this all the time as an athletic department. We're here to graduate student athletes. We're here to compete for championships because it's not church league, okay? And we're here to treat people with kindness and respect. And people confuse that for weakness. It's not weakness. You can have tough conversations. You can be real. But at the end of the day, we're going to treat people the right way and care about them. And I believe this guy does that.
Can you speak a little bit of your shared vision? College football has changed so much in the last few years, but still to have success in the field, what do you think you can do here, and how do you plan on getting there?
Well, the landscape has changed here particularly the last couple of years, and it is what it is. I think Dennis asked me a question and going through this process about similar to what you're asking, and it's basically NIL and who you go after, and it's about who you target. You got to target the right ones. You have to have resources to do that. It's going to take everyone, and I think that with where this is at currently, you take the building blocks that Director Hill has pointed out on my track record. You combine that with a staff that's going to, when they get here, they're going to serve their hearts, and they're going to educate them, and they're going to get them in the community. We're going to have a player development coach that's going to talk to them about how to handle being away from home versus handling some opportunities with NIL and using their platform to grow. Learn about escrows. I mean, those are things that. When's the last time you heard of escrow? That's for NFL guys. And right now in this environment, they know how that works, And so again, the education piece and the staff, and just keep serving their hearts and not their talent, building champions, as Director Hill said. We're going to get it done.
Mike, in kind of following up with that, with the NIL and revenue sharing, where do you feel like Charlotte is right now in that area?
Well, in today's age now, we talk about really whether it's revenue, it's NIL, it's about what do you have to build your roster. And that's the bottom line here. For us, we actually invested a good amount in this past year in this football roster, and we saw an improvement in the talent level. I think we could all see that, right? So for us, we still have to continue to fundraise for that. That's going to be critical for our success. If our fans want us to have success, it's a piece of it now. That's just modern day college football. We do have, a unified front now with our collectives. You can go online to charlottenil.com and find several links to different pieces of information related to our NIL opportunities. And we'll have one collective now called the Niners Collective that you can find on that URL. So again, it's charlottenil.com. is where people can find that information. But this is a part of the landscape now of college football. I will point out, and I'm not going to talk about the number, but this guy to my left won a MAC conference championship with about a tenth of what our NIL was this year, okay? And I'm telling you right now, we wouldn't want to play those guys. So NIL is a critical piece, and we're going to have to fundraise for it in a significant way. It's a plus 7-figure deal for us every year in this league, and I think the league was an attractive piece for Coach to come here. So to compete at this level, that is what it's going to take. But I'm confident that our supporters who want to have success and win are going to get behind us and really get behind Coach Albin.
And Coach, you also kind of, talking about that, in this area, you're going to lose players. It happens. But you've been able to build that roster every year and still compete. 3 straight 10-plus, wins and a championship. And you had a lot of roster turnover last year, but you still found a way to win. How'd you do that?
I'm going to point to the staff, plain and simple. We lost a lot of production. I think I saw an article out today on one of the social platforms. So we were 133rd out of 134 teams as far as production returning. And our production is really, really good this year. And again, that points to a staff. That points to Dennis's question on a target. All right? We all know that it's going to take resources. And with Director Hill's leadership, we're going to come together and come knocking. So just know that. All right? But again, I think if your staff develops trust, all right, in the student athlete, once you have that, they know that you have their best interest at heart, all right? And they're not going to shy away from life-changing money. That's not going to happen. But when they know that we serve them the right way, all right, and push them to challenges, maybe a few bucks is not worth it, all right? And because I've went through it, I can talk to you about a $500,000 player versus a few dollars. I went through the gauntlet this past season, headed into this one. And so we have a plan. It's going to take everyone. And, we're super excited.
For those who don't know, Frank Solich is going in the College Football Hall of Fame tomorrow, and mentor of yours. But just going way back to the beginning, a great story how you would drive from your home in Oklahoma all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska, and Coach Solich will let you sit in on meetings, and that's how you got started. Started that, you told me, a friendship. Now, he was your mentor, but now he's a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it started. It's about a 6-hour drive from where I was working at the time, and I jumped in the backseat of a car, maybe the trunk of a high school staff that was going to see Coach for the first time. They had sent 3 players. I think 2 of them are All-Americans at Nebraska. So when they rolled in, Coach Osborne was waiting at the door. Coach was second, and I just started tagging along, and then got to know Coach and his staff, and kept visiting. And really did a lot of things. The running game's important, especially in the second half. But we developed a relationship, and the opportunity came at Nebraska to join Coach's staff. And he's made the statement that he was coming so often that I finally just gave him a job. And I mean, I've heard him say that. And so, but and it was a tough decision, as I shared with the Leadership Council in this process. But look where we're at today. I appreciate his mentorship, but more importantly, as a friend. He's about the family. There's opportunities in 20 years, but nothing that would draw me away from my family. And it's meant a lot to me, and I've done my best to pattern and how I am with my coaches' families as being a head coach.
One really fun, interesting story too. You talk about your staff and how important they are, and the life that you guys lead being a coach is so difficult, so much time. But Bobcats Fishing Day, tell us about that, where you and your wife, Brooke, you babysit all the coaches' kids so they can go have a night.
That's correct. I've got 3 or 4 people on the staff, for sure 3 that have 4 to 5 kids. And in the month of August, when, about 3 weeks in, you get tired, and you're grinding. And Brooke and I and our kids, Miss Macy, with the help of a couple of grad assistants, we take them out to one of the local ponds and take them fishing, and let mom and dad go have a date day, And the joy of seeing a child catch their first fish, you can't put words in it. It's really powerful, and the staff really, really appreciates it.
Well, we got some great fishing spots around here.
Yes, you do.
Tradition you continue, right? All right, Mike, exciting things happen, of course, with the new coach and everything going on the field, but also in the stands, right? Expansion at Jerry Richardson Stadium. I think it starts in August. Tell us about that and how people can still get involved.
Well, our fan support has been off the charts here this year. You think about the first 5 home games this year, we were at 107% capacity. If you do the math, I'm not very good at it, but that's more than you have seats, okay? And so, our fans were incredible. They brought the juice in the environment, and our fan base is hungry for a winner, and they want to support this program. They are supporting this program. So the opportunity to be able to expand Jerry Richardson Stadium with the new tower, additional seats, club seats, suites, et cetera, and also some general public seating will make a huge impact on our program. It's the next logical growth step for us, and we've already seen great demand when we initially released some renderings, and we had a sign-up page for fans. The number of people who express an interest in learning more who are not currently in our ticket system says a lot about the interest in that. So that's going to be a game changer for our program, and I think it'll change the vibe even more at that facility, which is a gorgeous stadium in the heart of our campus. And also we'll be able to use it year round for our team. We talked about that. It's important to coach to have a place where the team can be together. He wants them to be together a lot, to eat together, to meet together. So that club space up top we'll use year round. So if you're going to spend $70 million, you better use it more than 6 times a year, right, Chairman Bunker?
Finally, Coach, we'll wrap this portion up but with this question. It's been busy for you, I know, and it's going to get even busier. So what's up next in your plan and getting a staff and going out recruiting?
It's in motion right now. As Director Hill had mentioned, we're headed to Vegas for a banquet tomorrow night, and I'll be on the phone. But towards the end of the week, I'd like to have some boots on the ground here. I got to work through that, but I want to do the best I can for the players in finals this week. I'm going to be really talking to them as much as I can on the phone. And I probably won't get to all of them prior to them leaving campus. But my intention is to be back here Thursday afternoon, and I'll be locked in. And we'll have some, again, boots on the ground.
Hey, can I just interject here, too? Speaking of the players, he did have a chance to meet with the team this morning, first thing. And I walked into the room. He and Brooke were right behind me with Reagan. And I think we were about 4 steps in the room, and the team just erupted in applause. So that should give you an idea of how they feel about the man that we hired to lead our program.
Coach, thanks so much. Welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you.
Mike, thank you.
Media, we're going to turn this over for questions to you. If you have a question, Reese has a microphone. If you wouldn't mind, just because Coach may not know you quite yet, just state your name and affiliation.
Tim, Nick Carboni from NBC here in Charlotte. Welcome. This is a young football program and one that elevated itself into a new conference, but is still trouble competing for championships in whichever conference it's in. What do you think is, with the facilities, the city, and everything you talk about, what do you think that ingredient is that you can bring?
I can't speak to the missing ingredient just yet. I'm still in the process of learning what's done well here and what we want to embrace, because I know there's a lot of things that are done well here. And what I can say to it is we're going to go to work, right? And from what I've seen today, this powerful room, the excitement, the band, it's passionate. It is motivating. And the resources of the city, there's huge potential. I'm not sure if I want to share exactly how I worded it to Mike on the first Zoom call, but with this conference and this fan base, there's a huge ceiling.
Coach, I'm Shane Connick from the Charlotte Observer. So when you were growing up in Woodward and then made it out to Alva, and then you see this program go from being an NAIA program about 60 miles from where you grow up to being a program in national prominence, what was it just like to see that program rise to that level, being that close to it?
Obviously, being an alum and had played there, it was a great run. And I will mention that really no one really knows, but in our league at the time of that transformation, they had gone from NAIA Division II, and Northwestern had stayed back to stay in NAIA. Who are you going to play? We had a huge roster turnover, which I just went through last year. All right, so I've gone through where the climbing is right now all those years ago. And again, the staff got to work. And I mean, we lost over 50 players. They didn't want to play NAIA anymore. They wanted to play Division II. So I've got a little bit of experience on how that worked. And again, it's about the blue collar piece of this and your target and the staff.
Coach, Cam Gaskins with WBTV here in Charlotte. Just curious what your philosophies are on the offensive side of the ball, given your track record as an offensive coordinator, and how you feel like the personnel here at Charlotte will fit into what you're trying to do with this offense.
The big thing for us is going to be you got to find a way to run the football. All right, time of possession is huge. In this league, just from what I know about it, you look at Tulane, some of the other schools, you got to find a way to run the football. Doesn't mean it's got to be 200 rushing and 200 passing. Which we had, I think, Saturday. But it's about. I just thought I'd sneak that in there. But it's especially in the second half, as far as rush yards, it's a mindset. All right, it's a program. Offensively, you got to get your best 11 on the field, but everything goes to the run game. Play action, your shot plays, and then you got to have some tempo fastballs. Everything goes to the quarterback, which we all know. But we're gonna start it with the offensive line. All right, big, strong running back, and a really good, talented quarterback that can create with his feet. He's got to be able to move out of the way sometimes, and then you got to have some design things with him in the run game. And you don't want your quarterback carrying the ball 20 times in a game. But you're on the road you're in a tight one, and he gets 12 carries. He gets 12 carries. Because you don't have 10 quarterbacks. So, again, it's about getting the best 11. That's kind of been our formula. It's worked. We've been at Ohio for 20 years, and that's kind of where it's at as far as philosophy. And then regarding this roster, again, that's the progress, and that's still kind of in progress. I've just seen a little bit of film. It's been I've been busy, but I'm meeting with 3 or 4 players here after this today, and I've got a chance to shake all their hands here this morning. So we're already in the process of keeping who's here. I went in there and said, "Look, guys, I'm not here to rebuild and clean house, and you got to go. You got to go. We want you all here. You buy in. We're going to get this thing done." And the guys were very attentive and excited, as Director Hill had pointed out. So, we're super pumped.
Eric Spanberg with the Business Journal. This is for both Mike and Coach. I'm curious, you've laid out pretty clearly how you define success with the education piece, community service, all those things, and obviously you want to win. But define success on the field. Is that, is it how instant is it? Is it a bowl game every year? Is it plus 500? Just how are you going to judge that, Mike? And then for you, Coach, what's a realistic expectation for that winning?
Well, I think most of the members of the media here who are friends understand that I never put a timeline on coaches. Coaches put enough pressure on themselves. They don't need the AD over their shoulder saying you better win X number of games by X time. We all understand that we all want to win now, right? But there's a process in place that Coach and his staff will take to build a winner. We want to be in a position, ultimately, the vision for the program is to be in a bowl every year and to be competing for conference championships. And then where that may lead us, is obviously the next step of our program. But right now, this is a program that's been to one bowl game. And we need to establish ourselves as a consistent winner and then advance to that championship mindset. But this is a man who is built. He has had success at a high level for a long time, and I have supreme confidence that he doesn't need me to give him a timeline on how and where to win.
Great comments. Eric, right? The timeline is going to start with the work and then building champions. That's non-negotiable. All right. The bowl game stuff and the championship stuff, I've been there and done it. That's what it is. All right. So I'm just going to keep preaching to the players and talking to them about the things that they heard this morning. How do you judge it? We're starting for sure off the field. We'll start in spring practice, and we'll go from there. I'd share with Mike again on the leadership council. I was going through this process of the potential, just from the recruiting and the resources, and the airport's right here, and the access that you're going to have. I come from Athens, and it's an hour drive to the airport. And there's so many things here that excites myself, my wife, and our staff. There's huge potential, but again, not to bring it up again, but I'm going to. I mean, the NIL thing's huge, and we're going to come knocking. And if you want to, if you're out there and it can be done really, really quick. If you know, it can be done really, really quick. All right, and so I can give you examples. You look at Curtis Rourke in Indiana. I mean, we were his only offer at Ohio. We were his only offer, and the year that he had, and I love him. I love it. His brother played for us, and so there's potential, but it's going to take everyone. It's going to take a village. We're going to get this thing going.
Coach, you brought up a lot, serving the hearts of your players rather than just them. What do you mean by that, and how does that serve guys on the field as well?
That's an easy one. It can't always. Every time you walk by one of them, it can't be about a new pressure or a new this, and it's got to be about, hey, how's your girlfriend? How's Macy doing? I text or talk to every player on their birthdays. I stood in front of a team yesterday, and the second thing out of my mouth, all right, was happy birthday to Maverick. He's a walk-on true freshman, defensive lineman. All right, and in the recruiting process, sometimes it's longer than others, and sometimes it's short with the portal. I know a parent or guardian or who their champion is, and you lead by action, you lead by example. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm not perfect, but they're going to see me own it. All right, and I just think it goes beyond. You're doing a great job. It's important to me that they get their English paper turned in on time. It's very important that they pay their rent on time. All right, and it's that. Yeah, I'm older now. Just had our first grandson, and I don't want to be grandpa just yet. But I'm going to help them. I want to help them. And I think it's genuine. They appreciate it. And again, back to the trust piece of this, or serving the hearts. To me, it's kind of the same thing. Once you have that established, when you got it on game day, you're hot, and you're challenging them and asking for a little bit more. They don't flinch because they know they're loved.
Hunter Bailey with the Charlotte Observer. 2 questions for you, Tim. First, you played receiver back in the day. Were you in the slot, or where they have you at?
Back then, they didn't. It was just you had one on each side, and you're under center. You huddled up. We didn't have any of the slot formations back then, so I was an outside guy. But that was technically the X. Yeah.
And your first year with Ohio, you guys go 3-9. Your second year, go all the way to 10 wins. What changed year 1 to year 2 with the Bobcats?
Belief. You ask Coach Solich, it's on the wall. He put it up on the wall. It's still on the wall. And there's been some remodeling, but that stayed. And that's, my message today with the guys. I use the word buy-in. It's going to take work. But that's how we got it turned. And I know that we can do that here.
Coach Ashley Mahoney with Axios Charlotte, welcome. 2-part question for you as well. One, we know that obviously you have a huge heart for rescue dogs and Macy, and obviously fishing is very important to you. What else should fans know about you? Obviously, 99.9% of your time is dedicated to what happens on the field and the preparation off it, but how do you spend your time? And second part, with the quarterback, obviously Charlotte's had a bit of a quarterback carousel over its history. Are you more inclined to look for someone in the portal or develop someone out of high school?
I'll start the last part. We're starting here first with that. I've got a meeting later on today. All right. But yes, that I'm very excited about. And then my spare time, really, I'm about being with my family or my staff. We have the most wonderful staff and their children. And that's where it's at. I'll play a little bit of golf. I'm not very good at it. But talking with Director Hill, live music. My entire family, love live music. And so I literally in August, I slipped out of a meeting. All right. Okay, don't be nervous, Chancellor. I slipped out of a meeting during fall camp this August to take my entire family and their husband and fiancés and my wife to go see their first Sammy Hagar concert in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, our neighbor, Jimmy and Robin and I worked at 3 different places, got us hooked up with some great seats. And my kids, they've heard it in the car growing up, sometimes loud in the basement. And so anyway, live music's a thing that we spend some time.
How many times have you seen Sammy Hagar again, Coach?
Over 20. So that's correct. And he is. I've had only 4 jobs, or I guess 5 now, 6 now. He has worn the number 55 jersey at every place that I've worked, except Nebraska. So he comes to Charlotte. I'm going to make that happen.
Can I just say, the rescue dog thing already had me sold, but if you'd said the live music thing, it definitely would have been over on the spot. So.
Tim, what excites you the most about the AAC and the ability to now compete for the college football playoff?
It's part of the process of me being here. I mentioned it. You look at how it's positioned right now. If you can get on a run, and if you have the right non-conference scheduling going on, and you get hot, I think you got an easier way to get into the playoff than some other schools. I'm not going to mention any. I truly believe that. And with this recruiting footprint, with this powerful fan base and the resources that are coming, that you've heard from Director Hill, we are. I just think it's the league is very competitive. Great teams. Tulane's that played for it. They've been strong through a coaching change, for sure won, and they're in the championship game again. So it's been done, and I think let's build strong, dream big.
Coach, Davis Cup with the Niner Times, or UNC Charlotte student newspaper. You talked about still having some building to do with the roster. What's your pitch to any prospective players that maybe have some interest in the program?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Apologize.
It's okay. That's good.
Do you have a pitch to any prospective players that have any interest in the program?
Okay. There we go. Thank you. Our target, the first box checks and what we're looking for is going to be toughness. There's physical, emotional, all right, mental. There's a lot that goes into it. The thing that I want to impress to you is an advantage that being in this area, when you go out and see these athletes, whether it's in the weight room or a class setting or a practice or a live game, you're going to see them and how they interact and how they are with their other teammates. You're going to see them possibly talk to with their girlfriends, all right, or with their friends. It's a very thorough process, and it's about the relationship. You like length. You like multiple sports. The academic piece is huge. You look at you talk to their English teacher, and again, there's the film, and you got to have that. But the toughness piece of that, with those 3 areas that I mentioned, I think once you get a tough locker room, right? You get the right guys in that locker room. We don't want to have locks in the locker room. We want in the fourth quarter guys that are bought in, that, and when the bullets are flying, they're not looking to the sideline to see what do we do. They look at each other, and that's, again, I'm back to the relationship building in this, but it's so important to form the glue to a football team.
Tim, I'm not sure when looking at the schedule gets on your radar with everything you got going on, but your first game will be against App State here in Charlotte at night. I know it'll be the most important game because it's the next game, and that's what coaches say, but why is that one important for this program and you?
Big rival, right? It's in-state and playing at a beautiful, beautiful venue. And I know they're going through a coaching change right now, but wow, they've been on a run now. And so I think from the recruiting piece of this, bragging rights, our fan base, let's get this thing jump-started.
Tim, it's obvious you're excited to be here. We could tell from everything today, but how hard was it to leave Ohio?
It was I can't lie, it's the most difficult decision that we made as a family. And it was emotional. My heart hurt. My heart hurt. And because of my heart hurt. All right. But today begins a new chapter, and my heart is healing because we're starting to build relationships right now, and you're gonna see it and feel it. And wow, it was very, very difficult, but we're on to this new chapter, and the pages are blank. But today, you know what? The first page has been written, and thank you for asking the question. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Coach. Back here, way back here.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right, good morning, Coach Albin. My name is Blake Crawford. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm a commuter student. I just had a question. You are a 5'9" wide receiver, still putting up 5'9", 5'8", correct me if I'm wrong, still putting up record stats for your school. So how important is the fight and the dog during the recruitment process? And through your experience, what are some things you look for in players when you're recruiting?
Again, it starts back with the is he tough? We love multiple sport guys, as I said, and it's not about the touchdowns or the sacks or the hard hits. What's he doing when he doesn't? If he's a skill person, you referenced the receiver. What's he doing without the football? Right? Is he blocking? Is he on special teams? Does he contribute? Does he run down and kick off? Those things. Is he on the punt team? Is he a punt returner? You're just talking on the skill. What's he do when he's not scoring the touchdowns? If the effort's there, the toughness piece is there, and then you take the things that I mentioned earlier, you got something. And I think that's the part about looking, they're willing to commit to help the team in ways does not put their name on the paper. All right, or I guess there's papers anymore. I mean, there's papers, right? I mean, or on somebody's phone, And so that's how we see it.
I'll just yell that. I think that concludes everything today. Thank you for coming out, folks. Thanks for coming and celebrating Coach Albin, and go Niners.